Hello friends. So today we are going to study international business. I'm going to focus on trade barriers. So international trade is beneficial to every country. Every country has certain restrictions on free trade. These restrictions are imposed by the government on the free movement of goods between countries, which are known as trade barriers. So if you remember the LPG policy of 1991, what was it? It was liberalization, privatization and globalization. What did the government do? The government tried to liberalize trade, tried to remove restrictions, tried to make it more easier for the industries in order to flow through the global markets and to bring in globalization. So these restrictions or these barriers are generally helpful to promote the domestic goods rather than the imported goods in order to safeguard the domestic industries. It helps to protect the interest of various groups such as firms, workers, suppliers, consumers in the home country against the competition from foreign firms. Trade barriers. What do you mean by trade barriers? In international sense, trade means imports and exports. Barriers mean certain restrictions, certain obstacles. So these trade barriers are certain restrictions which are imposed on the movement of goods as in imports and exports between various countries. Trade barriers are usually imposed on exports as well as imports. We will discuss this ahead. So trade barriers can further be divided into two groups: trade barriers, tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers. So what do you mean by tariff barriers? Tariff means a duty, a tax. It could mean a monetary barrier which is imposed on the products which move across various boundaries and borders of the countries. Tariffs are usually imposed on imports rather than on exports. Now, why does the government impose tariffs on imports? If the government imposes tariffs on imports, the imports will become costlier, and that is how we will discourage the imports of such goods. Why is discouraging of imports necessary? It is necessary to reduce the imports and to expand the exports in order to match our balance of or balance our balance of payments. Right? So we will look at the first tariff barrier. The first one is a specific duty. So what is a specific duty? Specific duty is usually based on a physical unit of the good. So for example, if we are importing a Ferrari car, so it is straightforward that amount of rupees 25,000 or let's say 50,000 is put on every car that has been imported. So every car you import, you're going to pay a duty of 50,000. So a fixed sum of amount is known as specific duty, right? So this duty is imposed irrespective of the quality, irrespective of the value of the imported commodity. Next we will see ad valorem duty. This duty is mainly concerned or is calculated according to the value. So for example, the same example, if we are importing a Ferrari car of like 50 lakh rupees, a particular percentage is based on the value to be paid as custom duty. So let's say 10% of the value of the car is to be paid as custom duty. So like in our example, the Ferrari car was for 50 lakhs, 10% of 50 lakhs would be 5 lakhs. So 50 lakhs is paid to the Ferrari car owner, 50 lakhs, 5 lakhs is paid to the government as custom duty. So now the customer has to pay 50 plus 5 as 55 lakhs in all in total. So ad valorem duty is imposed based on the value of the commodity that has been imported. Compound duty. This can be a combination of specific sum of amount based on the unit as well as a specific percentage on the value of the commodity. So for example, 10% of the value and rupee 1 on every meter of cloth is charged as a duty. Right? So it is very simple. If you understand specific duty and ad valorem duty, you will easily get compound duty. Okay, the next barrier is anti-dumping duty. Tariff is anti-dumping duty. Now what do you mean by an anti-dumping duty? So let me give you an example. We are manufacturing erasers in our market, in the Indian market, and we are manufacturing this eraser at 50 rupees and a custom duty is charged at 5 rupees. So we are selling this eraser at like 55 rupees in our domestic market. China is manufacturing a similar kind of an eraser, which is again for 55 rupees along with the custom duties. Alright, so when China wants to sell this eraser in its home country, it is selling the same eraser at 55 rupees. But China exports this to India and the price of the eraser is now 30 rupees. So the normal price is 30 rupees. Custom duty at 10% is charged, becomes 33 rupees. And what China is doing is, though it is selling the same product in its home market at a higher rate, but it is dumping the manufactured goods in a foreign country, the foreign markets, at a lower rate than what it is distributing in its own country. So this is called as dumping, right? So in order to nullify this effect, to remove the dumping effect from the market for us in Indian market, our domestic eraser is available at 55 rupees and the Chinese eraser is available at 33 rupees. So what the government does, it imposes 22 rupees as anti-dumping duty and tries to equate the price of these Chinese eraser to that of the domestic eraser. So now the consumer in our country will have an option to buy either the domestic eraser at 55 rupees or the Chinese eraser at 55 rupees. This will discourage the imports for the country. Next, we will go through sliding scale duty. Sliding scale duties are usually charged on the prices of certain commodities which vary. So the commodities relating to the agricultural products vary every day or throughout the seasons. So the duties charged on the varying prices also vary, and this is called as sliding scale duty. Coming to the next, countervailing duty. Countervailing duties are kind of similar to that of the dumping duties. Here the difference is that the country isn't dumping its good. That means, again we'll take the same example of the eraser. India manufacturing its eraser and selling it at 55 rupees in the domestic country. Now let us take as Malaysian eraser. Malaysia is manufacturing this eraser at 33 rupees along with the custom duties because Malaysian government provides the producers some subsidies which make it easier for the suppliers to manufacture this eraser at a lower cost of production, and hence they are able to sell this good at 33 rupees even in their domestic market as well as in foreign markets. So Malaysia is now selling this eraser for 33 rupees in our country. To nullify this effect, because the Malaysian eraser is cheaply available in our country rather than the domestic eraser, to nullify this effect, to reduce the imports, our government puts a countervailing duty of 22 rupees and tries to equate the price of the Malaysian eraser to that of the price of the domestic eraser. So this will again help to reduce the imports. I hope it is clear. The next tariff is revenue tariff. Revenue tariffs are imposed mainly because the government wants to earn revenue. So these tariffs are imposed with a view to earn revenue. These tariffs are imposed on certain customer goods, which are usually luxurious goods, precious goods whose demand is inelastic by the rich. So the government knows that irrespective of things happening, irrespective of the tariffs imposed, these rich people are still going to purchase and pay the tariff. Right? The next and the last is protective tariff. Protective tariffs are imposed on the imported commodities in order to protect the domestic industries to face the competition because of the imported goods. This helps to protect, safeguard the interest of the domestic industries and do not wade out. Right? So this helps to make the imports more expensive than that of the the domestic products. So this was there for today. We are going to see non-tariff barriers in the next video.